whatever you desire to be, to do, and have in life. There's one word that describes it all. And if you don't follow the meaning of this word and don't know the meaning of this word, then you'll find out that all of your laboring will be in vain. There are many individuals who are gifted, talented, and it seems like they are poised for great success. And many of them in life have turned out to be a dismal disappointment. And then there are those who are less talented, less oratorical. They don't seem to have it all together, but some way, somehow, they end up succeeding in life against what individuals like to call against all odds. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. This evening, I'm continuing with part 2 of the teaching lesson entitled Persistence. When I last left off on last night, I left off talking about persistence. I gave you a very detailed meaning of the word, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go over the meaning of the word, and then we're going to teach about it. Now, what I want you to understand before I get down into it tonight, listen, like, share, and subscribe. Come on, beloved, help me get 1,000 subscribers. Like, share, and subscribe. A lot of the teachings that I've been doing, let me tell you something. You might not need them today. You may not even need them tomorrow. But at some point in time, during the course of your life, the topics that I'm talking about, you're going to need them. Everyone wants to succeed. Everyone wants to be, to do, and to have. Everyone wants to rise out of poverty into prosperity. But you must have the consciousness of prosperity, the consciousness of money, the consciousness of wealth, the consciousness of health, etc., etc. And you'll find out I'm going to go further and deeper into talking about success. Yes, success consciousness. Stop thinking about all the mundane, terrible things that are happening in this world, because if that's what you focus on, you're not going to be able to do the things that you desire to do. If you focus on negativity, then that's what you're going to have. If you focus on doubt and fear and etc., then that's all you're going to have. You've got to push through it all. So persistence is defined as, let's give a definitive meaning here. You know what? Google, define persistence. We're just going to do it that way.
Here's the definition of persistence: firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition.
All right, here we go. Now it's time for me to read it. Firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. In spite of the difficulty, in spite of the opposition, in spite of the trouble, in spite of the trial, in spite of the heartache, in spite of the sickness, in spite of everything that seems to have stopped you from achieving your goals in life, it's time to continue. It's time to get up and listen, fight for your success. Fight for your health. Fight for your family. Fight for your education. Fight for your prosperity. Be dog-edged determined to have it all. You can have it all in the here and in the now. Persistence is defined as perseverance, tenacity, determination, resolve, resolution, staying power, patience, endurance, application, diligence, dedication, commitment, acidity, stamina. Wow, continuance. I have observed, I've counseled a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people, and I've oftentimes wondered, why did you stop? Who told you that you couldn't succeed? Who told you that you couldn't be blessed? Who told you that you couldn't be prosperous? Whatever your call, whatever your goal, mission, objective, aim, position in life, you must be persistent enough to achieve it. No one is going to open the door to prosperity and success and happiness and say, there it is, the door's open, welcome, come on in. In America, you have to fight for success. You have to start from the bottom up if you're going to do it the right way. Now, that's another teaching for another time about people who are doing all kinds of things and compromising, and then they regret it once they get there. That's not the type of success I'm talking about. If you want it the right way, that ethically, morally, spiritually, be determined. Now it's time to do some reading. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keeping this in mind, and I quote, "Weak desires bring weak results. Just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. If you find yourself lacking in any amount of heat, if you find yourself lacking in persistence, this weakness may be remedied by building a stronger fire under your desires." Close quote. So if you desire to have a money, you must have a money conscious. That's the fact. You know, I've heard a lot of talk about the law of attraction, and there's a lot of truth to the law of attraction. I've read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I've read so many different books about so many people talking about the same things. But you know the one thing that these people are not doing? They're not telling you how to get it. They're not telling you how the doors are going to open for you. And this is the difference here. To teach you, use everything that's available around you. Glean from other people's wisdom. Saturate it. Take it in. Talk to people. Study. Go to your local library. Don't just spend all your time on the computer or spend all your time watching television. Go to your local library. Look up things. Think about things. Get into the habit of studying. Become a studyholic. Become a readaholic. Become a listening-aholic instead of being an alcoholic, a drugaholic. Develop new habits in your life. If you are weak in persistence, center your attention upon so many things that can help you. You know, get yourself acquainted with and surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. And I quote, "Poverty consciousness will voluntarily seize the mind which is not occupied with the money consciousness." Close quote. Quote, "A poverty consciousness develops without conscious application of habits favorable to it. The money consciousness must be created to order unless one is born with such a consciousness." Close quote. Quote, "Without persistence, you will be defeated even before you start. With persistence, persistence you will win." Close quote. Quote, "There is no substitute for persistence." Close quote. Everything that I'm quoting it from this book right here. Think and Grow Rich. Get a copy of it. Don't just take my word for it. Research for yourself. Study for yourself. Do your own thinking. Do your own research. Do your own studying. Don't allow someone, even computers are becoming much smarter than human beings because the brightest minds are programming the computers. AI, artificial intelligence. I'm going to talk about that one evening. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring an expert on and have a conversation about AI. Start thinking for yourself. Start researching for yourself. Start studying for yourself. Be determined to come out of that impoverished state of mind. Be determined to come away from those bad habits. Be determined to succeed. Be determined to be in love. If you are lovable, people will love you. If you are friendly, you will have friends. If you are persistently pursuing the wonderful, great things spiritually and naturally, you can have it all. I am a proponent for having it all. You can be this way too. Develop good habits. I said develop good habits. Quote, "Those who have cultivated the habit of persistence seem to enjoy insurance against failure." Everyone fails at some point in time. But as the author says, quote, "Every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage." Close quote. Be determined to succeed. Be determined to overcome. Be determined to come out. Be determined. You ever watch Hurdleist? You ever watch the Hurdleist? You see how they leap over those hurdles? They make it look easy, but they spent years cultivating, years practicing, years mastering the artistry of hurdling. And they do it with ease. Do it in your mind. Research, study, analyze. You know, you can, I'm telling you, you can have it all. Now, I'm going to close with saying this. And I'm not going to make this long and drawn out. Matter of fact, I'm going to probably have to have a part 3 of this here. So, and I'll be back later on this evening and I'll record the third part. But let me say this as I continue. The secret is always inseparably attached to one word: persistence. There's no such thing as luck. Either you're successful or you're not. Don't envy people who are successful. Don't envy people who seem to have it all. Stop being jealous of others because you can be one of them too. Let me ask you this. What do you really want to be? What do you really want to do? What do you really want to have? Make up your mind once and for all and stop this nonsense about not being able to have it. Yes, you can. Despite your enemies, persevere anyway. Negative thinking, acting, speaking, doing, hateful, bitter, unforgiving people don't want you to be happy. Don't allow your happiness be intrinsically locked in to someone else's happiness. Don't allow your success to be linked with someone else's success. Decide for yourself what you're going to have. Decide for yourself how much money you're going to make in this world. Decide for yourself which path you're going to go down. Decide for yourself how the doors are going to be open for you. Decide for yourself that you're coming out of disparity. You're coming out of lack. You're coming out of want. You're coming out of depression. Start telling yourself, I am going to soar. I'm going to break through. I'm going to succeed despite what you think of me. It doesn't matter if you messed up in life. So what? See, when you open up your mouth and begin to talk about yourself, you take the power away from your enemies. Don't run from your past, embrace it. So what if you had a habit? So what if you've been to prison? So what if you fail? So what? That doesn't mean that you can't triumphantly become a part of the productive society. That doesn't mean that you can't rise up and achieve everything good and wonderful and great. Don't allow anyone to minimize your experiences, because every human being, they are a sum total of all of their experiences in this life, including me. I don't run from my past. I'm not trying to hide the past. I embrace it. And I'm glad for it. Wasn't glad for it back then, but I'm glad for it now. Be inspired. Be motivated. Get in touch with your divine self. Listen to me. Tap into the divinity of the Almighty One that's within you. Draw that strength. Study the great thinkers of our time. Study those who succeeded in times past. Study the greatest entrepreneurs, writers, singers, dancers, choreographers, Enlightenment thinkers. Thomas Jefferson was an Enlightenment thinker. You had to have been an Enlightenment thinker if you're going to go against the status quo of that time and of that day. Remember this. You can have it all if you make up in your mind and purpose in your heart that you are going to succeed. Because if you let others tell you that you can't make it, if you let others tell you that you can't succeed, if you let others tell you that you can't prevail, consciously, you will let that stuff live on the inside of you and it will stop you. Now is the moment. Now is the time. Be persistent to have it all. Never surrender. Never quit.